Once again, we take a look at some of the strangest robots out there. Beginning at number 7, and it's something entirely new called the Ark. Now there are some really weird robots out there, and then there's this thing. I can only imagine walking around town with a large tail, but supposedly this thing gives the user more agility, kind of like a monkey with a long tail. It's built out of interconnected vertebrae, which can be customized to the user, and it's powered by compressed air that expands and contracts in different combinations to move the tail in any direction. But keep in mind, this is just a prototype and it still requires an air compressor, so it's not entirely self-sustainable as of yet. But taking this one step further, it could be used as a haptic feedback device in VR, which would be really interesting to say the least. So even though this thing is pretty weird, it actually has a lot of potential in different applications. At number 6, we look at something that's a little bit more universal, and it's the Festo Adaptive Gripper. There are quite a few problems associated with the dexterity in a normal servo-controlled robot hand. So Festo came up with a different idea, and they built a pneumatic gripper. Using an inverted cap connected to a piston rod, this works by using a cylinder motion, which picks the cup upwards, thus allowing objects to be picked up in the inverted motion. Combined with 2 sensors, it can grab almost any kind of object. And yes, it's a little bit slow for now, but it still outperforms many robotic hands when it comes to versatility. At number 5, and I'm just going to shortly cover this one because it's pretty much self-explanatory, the Tomaton. I'm pretty sure this is more of a publicity stunt than anything else. And there's not too much to this machine, other than it just autonomously feeds the user. I guess this was invented a few years back, and it's more of a dead weight than anything else in terms of practicality. But hey, if this thing delivered apples or grapes, I would be on board. Not to mention this thing is over 18 pounds, so it intensifies the workout a bit more. We reach number 4, and just when you think it's probably not going to get weirder, well, it does, and we look at the stick robot. Now, this may not seem like much, but it's actually pretty incredible to even see this moving at all. This is thanks to a deep learning network, which uses dimensions and weight of the sticks to figure out how to move the prototype robot forward. After simulating millions upon millions of possible movements, the robot calculates how to move from point A to point B. Now, I personally found this to be quite fascinating because the robot almost entirely learns how to move on its own. And this could lead to better locomotion in more advanced robots. But then again, I don't think this robot looks too happy, and it might just want to be put out of its misery. We get to number 3, the Android Cannon. One of the weirdest applications was revealed in Japan. It is a deity of mercy, and it began preaching in March. Yes, you may actually laugh right now, but wait until these robot overlords take over the world. But on a serious note, the average population age in Japan is actually increasing, so robots will help in everyday tasks in the future. Anyways, the android costs just under $1 million, and it can move its upper body around. It also has built-in cameras to identify people who don't worship with it, but luckily it can't move around as of yet. We get to number 2, the Cockroach Robot. I'm not too sure what to think of making more robotic pets, and it's already a pain to kill the normal living things. But if you want to get your stomping foot up to par, you can step on this robotic cockroach, as it just keeps on going. The weird contraption is made from a sheet of piezoelectric material covered in a layer of elastic polymer. The material can bend and expand when exposed to an electric field, so thus it can move. It can also withstand a 60 kilogram weight and still survive. I'm just waiting for when this thing gets AI and electrocutes the person actually stepping on it. So we get to the great number 1, the Encounter. I tried to pick a weird robot, which is something original, and I think this one fits the bill. Encounter is basically a robot which focuses on a nearby person. If the person approaches, it retracts, and then if they walk away, the mirror starts to follow them in a weird way, a bit like hide and go seek. But after a while, the robot does get accustomed to the user, and it will start playing around with its mounted mirror. Now, the robot kind of gives the illusion that it has curiosity, and it almost seems lifelike because of this trait. Now, it's not alive by any means, but it does question the ability of a robot to trick a person into thinking it's actually conscious. And taking it just one step further, maybe a limited AI system can erase the barrier between computation and consciousness, which is something actually to think about. So once again, thanks for watching, please like the video if you enjoyed it, and make sure to subscribe to my channel.